Hey Christian, I thought I would go ahead and make a quick video to go over these questions because it would be a little bit easier to understand than trying to text back and forth with the ones that you missed. So I'm just going to talk through the items that you missed, and then if you've got follow-up questions, you can get a hold of me and I'll be available all evening tonight. So the first question that you missed was number 3. It says, when a purely competitive firm is in long run equilibrium, I think your answer was price equals marginal cost, and that's true, but that's not the only item that's true. So take a look at that one again and see if you can figure out, based on that hint, how you should answer that question. Next one was number 7. And in this case, it says in the industry model for pure competition, price is determined where the industry, and the key thing that you missed here was the industry model. So the industry model is where you have just your downward sloping demand curve and your upward sloping supply curve, where the two intersect, and then you have an equilibrium price. Your response, I think, was where demand intersects the firm's marginal cost curve. And that would be true for the firm, but this question is asking for the industry as a whole. And that's where we default to the traditional X shape of downward sloping demand, upward sloping supply. Next question, number 9. So it says that output level Q per unit fixed cost is, your answer was AFQ0, or yeah, 0, which would be this rectangle here. And the correct answer, I'll just point out, is if you look at these curves, this downward sloping curve is our average fixed cost. The first curve, kind of labeled E right there, that's going to be your average variable costs, and then D is your average total cost. If you recall, your average fixed cost plus your average variable cost equal your average total cost. So those two together will equal your bigger curve. And so see, with that in mind, if you can figure out of the items that are left. So you know it is not, let's see, number 9, you know it is not AFQO. So of those that are left, which sort of indicates that this average fixed cost plus your average variable cost would together equal your average total cost. See what you can figure out on that one. Number 18. Which of the following is a characteristic of the law of diminishing marginal returns? You responded, let's see, beyond some point, the extra utility derived from additional units of a product will yield the consumer smaller and extra amounts of satisfaction. That actually describes the law of diminishing marginal utility, which we looked at in demand and supply. And so diminishing marginal returns has to do with at some point adding items to your production will cause your additional production to fall. So keep that in mind. Look at those other 3. It is not this that mentions consumers. That would be law of diminishing marginal utility. Next one was number 27. So in order to reach its profit maximizing level, a competitive firm in the short run will operate where, I think you said where price and ATC are equal. That would be true for long run equilibrium. This is asking in the short run. So what plus what, or what has to equal what in order to be looking at the profit maximizing situation? P and A, or price and ATC, would be long run equilibrium. In the short run, what 2 curves are we looking at intersecting to find that profit maximizing point? And then the last one you missed was number 29. It says this firm will realize an economic profit. Actually, no, that is not. I must have written the wrong one down. You didn't miss that one. Just kidding. Okay, sorry about that. The other one you missed, can't read my own handwriting apparently, was question 24. So the demand curve for a firm in a perfectly competitive, that should say, it's worded poorly. Demand curve for a firm that is perfectly competitive is characterized by, you answered elasticity is one at all levels of output. That would indicate that it is unit elastic. But remember, in the perfectly competitive market, the demand curve is going to be just, get this in front of my, there we go. The demand curve is going to be just a horizontal line. It's that perfectly competitive, or I'm sorry, perfectly elastic, not elasticity equals one. So the key thing here is that because you've got that perfect elasticity, my demand curve looks like this. My price and my marginal revenue are related. So take a look back at that and see if you can figure that one out. So I hope this was making sense. If you have further questions, feel free to get in touch with me tonight or, anytime this week. But I thought it might be easier to explain those in the form of a video rather than try to text back and forth. So hope you have a good night.